All right, I'm here with Gary Corbitt, the son of Ted Corbitt, the father of distance running, who also was African American and had many talents. This was a club night for New York road runners here in Manhattan, where the best of the best runners won awards, and Gary presented the first ever Ted Corbitt Ultra Runner of the Year award. Actually, it was renamed this year after your dad. So, your father won marathons. He was the founding president of New York Road Runners. He was a physical therapist who practiced on himself after he would run around the island of Manhattan. Of all of your memories of him, what one memory would you like to share that you think paints an accurate picture of who he was?
Well, I would always encourage him to write more, write his own story, write his autobiography. And we were sitting out in Lincoln Center one beautiful day, and I broached this to him again. And his response was that he's still learning in treating patients. I was trying to get him to not stop, but lessen his load of patients he was seeing, he was treating. And his response was that he's still learning. And I had no response to that. I mean, and that's what he was about, learning. His whole life is he was a student. He took classes up until his mid-80s. He was taking classes, continuous education. That was what he was about. So here I'm trying to get him to write about himself, but in treating patients, he continued to learn, and that's one big enduring memory I have.
Yeah, and it would seem also that you inherited, some of his zest for wanting to learn more, because you're now the official historian for the National Black Marathoners Association, and the running community from all walks, not just African American runners, but all runners, look to you as sort of the expert on running. Particularly African American runners in the New York Pioneer Club. Is there anything about your dad that you feel that it would be useful or good for people to know as we go into Black History Month? It's January 31st as we're having this conversation.
I think that the myth. There was a letter I found that was written to my father in the early 1970s from a runner who said that if he'd known about my father, he would have ran distance. His coach was steering him to be a sprinter. And I hope that's not happening today. But it's a letter that I haven't found it again. It's mixed in with a bunch of other things, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But here you have someone who, if he had known about my father, he felt he could have excelled in distance running. And I did an African American timeline from 1880 to 1979 to show the excellence that black people have achieved in long distance running, starting in 1880, in the pedestrian era. Mm-hmm. And people need to hear these stories. And my father's just one part of the history. He had a lot of firsts, but he wasn't the first. But so few people today still know about my father, or know about Mr. Joseph Yancey, the New York Pioneer Club story. Mm-hmm. I'm motivated by all these reasons to push forward with the history preservation work that I'm doing, and encourage others to put scholarship to running history. That's what my father was, though. He was a scholar. That's how he approached everything.
Right.
Scholarship.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Gary Corbitt. Appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.